Hey, hello. Good evening, Milani. Thanks for chiming in early. Hey, we got another one for you today and everybody. So let's buckle up. I don't know how hard hitting this is going to be, but something to talk about, supporting to Black business. So as everybody comes in, of course, welcome to Black Man Unfiltered Network. Hit the like button on the way in. Stay for a while. Join the chat. Hey, team. Hello. How you doing? Hey, Edward Gilbert, what's going on? Hey, the regulars are popping in. Thanks. Um, Maybe I can learn something again today. I mean, I have these topics come to the head, and I get a chance to work with some numbers. So be prepared for that. Uh, and I'll try to keep it. Actually, it's real simple. I'll just get to the bottom line because you got to make some, assumptions and things of that nature to make all of this work. Um, what else? Of course, I got some videos. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up. Uh, Man, my university keeps calling me, man. They want me bad. They just want me to donate. I got to call them back one of these days. I usually do donate to my alma mater. So, anyway, that's another side note. But they're always calling me. You know what? Maybe they got a scholarship for me or something like that. And I'm missing out. But anyway, so uh, support of Black businesses. One of the biggest questions are we obligated? What's going on, Trey Taylor? What's happening? Are we obligated to support Black businesses as Black people, African American people, whatever we want to call ourselves? We'll answer that. I'll answer what my answer might be at near the end of the show, so we could talk about it. I'll drop the link somewhere in the middle, and after I show a few videos, we're going to show some of the stereotypes that we hear about Black businesses. I'll show some of that, some of the path forward for the businesses. And then we're going to discuss what we could do as individuals to help the economy of Black folks and things of that nature. So I like to, it's good to see people chime in. So we can get started a little bit with what I have in store. And before I get to the numbers, of course, I did a little digging. One of the questions I want to ask people, and maybe y'all can answer that in the chat. When was the last time you spent some money for a good or a service or anything from a Black entrepreneur or business? Of course, it'll probably vary depending on where you live and how many businesses are in the area, or what your needs might be. But, have you ever asked yourself, when's the last time you handed over a dollar, a check, or anything to somebody Black to do something for you with high expectations that what they deliver you is going to be a quality good, quality service? And I'm not just talking about food. I think that might be the easiest one, to find a Black restaurant somewhere and patronize it. But what what other kind of services? We spend money every month, hair products. Maybe the ladies could say, well, my hairdresser, the people who I go get my hair did, of course, get your hair done. That's probably usually a person that looks like you, understands the texture of your hair, what kind of colors you need, and those kind of things. And that's supporting the community. But do you have an 11 o'clock appointment, but you don't get started until 1, and you're in there almost all day for something that's shown to take an hour? That's 2 hours. That's something I hear as a complaint a lot. The schedules always get screwed up. How's the customer service? Those kind of things get talked about a lot. I try to do some digging to see if there's like an equivalency of an Angie's List for Black-owned businesses, and there isn't one. There's like, if you wanted something done in your house or whatever kind of service, there's an Angie's List that qualifies certain vendors. But there's none exists for Black businesses, and I'm really kind of surprised about that, because I think that might be an area where people could work and have one. There is a Black app, right? It's called a BLAP, BLAPP, where it's a Black-owned app. It's on Android, where, you know, if you're looking for a certain black business, you could just download the app and search around the country for the business that you want to look for. It's not Angie's List because they don't qualify the businesses. But if the business happened to be listed on that app, you could find a business in your area. So that's BLAPP. You know, I downloaded it. You know, I didn't really get a chance to study it to see how well it works. But that's something. If you didn't know about that, that's something that you could do. So one of the things that I wanted to do was kind of estimate the numbers, and it's kind of strange. Yeah, I tried to look up how many black people support black businesses in the percentage. You know, how many of us, is there an estimate of how many black people actually, and how much black people actually support black businesses? And to tell you the truth, there's no solid estimate. You know, you got to make all kinds of assumptions, and it depends on what business and all that kind of stuff. So the best way to work with numbers is to kind of normalize everything across the board and just kind of see where you were. You know, if you assume that everybody has similar buying habits, I mean, you need supplies, you need services, you need this, you need that. So you could do some extrapolation with numbers and come up with an estimate of how much money we spend per month supporting our own black businesses. There's some information we do know. I mean, they're all estimates, of course, and stuff like that. So we don't need to get hung up on the numbers, but there's some stuff we could make as talking points to have a discussion today, you know. And then I have a couple of things to compare and contrast what we can do as individuals to make a difference if we really wanted to. And part of that is answering that question: are we obligated to? You know, are we obligated to buy black because we're African American? Whatever you, I can't stand the black thing. I'm gonna have to find something I'm more comfortable with. But I'm still using it for the purposes of this. I'm gonna keep saying it. So anyway, so that's that. So you know, so I don't know how long this stream is going to be. I get you get in, we'll go through some numbers, you can get out. And then, you know, the videos might be the longest thing that we all go through because I have a few of them, of course. So I like to have other people do the talking as opposed to just me standing up here rattling at the jibs. But first, let's go through the preliminary numbers so we can see what I'm talking about in terms of how much you know, we have is, you know, how much our black entrepreneurs are making estimated every year. All right, so here we go. Let me share this. Let's stay tuned real quick. All right. All right, there you go. You see that? All right, so of course, numbers don't lie. So let's go ahead and get started. I guess you guys can see this. I mean, I don't need to make it too much bigger. All right, so this is just the first chart I'm gonna go through right now. We'll just try to get to this bottom number here. Not number, but this thing where it says the general note. I want to get there. So I did a little Google search anywhere. This is roughly 42 million people, black people in the United States, black Americans, right? So I just said, well, everybody doesn't have money to spend. So why don't we just look at 18 and up, okay? So if we look at 18 and up, that's 32 million. But I said 18 and up, 32 million, because those people have money to spend, right? So the annual buying power is, of course, is estimated at 1.8 trillion. Okay, that's just the buying power. That's whether you're consuming it or not. That's the buying power that we have. So it doesn't always go to consumables, right? Some get saved, some get this, some blah 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 blah. But the American consumerism, Black American consumerism, right, is at, this is of course it's a swag, $910 billion that was estimated in 2019, and it's projected to go to 1.7 trillion by 2030. So that's our consumerism. Like, we spend a lot of money, right? So we do spend a lot of money. So that's neither here nor there. That's just a number you need to put in the back pocket. But the general consumer support to Black business, which is this one here, that's an important number, because this says it's, I say, only $206.1 billion. That's adjusted for inflation in 2023. And what I'm saying is that's everybody. That's not just Black people buying from Black businesses. That's everybody in America. And that money is only $206 billion. And I say only. I mean, I don't want to minimize it. But when I try to look for an exact number, which is the general note, is Black American support to Black businesses, there was no specific estimate to be found. No specific estimate to be found. So what do we do with that? How do we figure out, if we wanted to, how much, we're supporting our own businesses, or when I say the Black-owned businesses? Well, so I have some videos, and, maybe there's a problem somewhere. So let's talk about some of the things that might be hindering service by putting our money into our own community. I think we all have similar arguments that might hinder us from spending our own dollars with our own vendors and things of that nature. So let's put this away for a second. And let me, hold on for a second. Let me get this. I'm not going to drop the link just yet. I'm going to play a video and to say what might be one of the problems. Okay. And let me take that down. By the way, how's everybody doing? I mean, I see the chat's going a little bit. So let's go to the first video. And this video is a guy who had an issue, and he says one of his issues about supporting Black-owned businesses. So let's start there. It's kind of like the ugliness part of it. All right.
So I did a video that said I would no longer support Black businesses. Right? This was years ago, but it's moving. It's popping now. I did the video in Atlanta, right? It had to be about 2 years ago. And people are, looking at it as if I did yesterday, and they're commenting, and I'm sitting back and I'm saying, like, okay, that was the past, and I'll move on to bigger and better things. But I see that now I have to address this whole thing about I will not support Black-owned businesses, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, first and foremost, I'm still on that. I will not support Black-owned businesses. Just because that you're Black, that does not mean that I'm going to support you. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're selling cat food, right, and you're Black, if I don't have a cat, why in the hell am I going to buy cat food from you? Period. It doesn't make any sense for me as a consumer to buy something that I don't need. The second thing is I am not going to contribute towards your business if your business sucks. It's crazy. It's so ironic that right after I did that video, right, I said, you know what? I'm going to give this brother a chance. Now, the mother of my children told me, yo, we need to get our brakes done by a regular mechanic. I said, no. I'm going to take it to the West End in Atlanta, and I'm going to get my brakes done there by these brothers. They're Black-owned business, 100%, right? Took it to them. Car was fine. You could just hear the little skit, like, because the brakes were worn, right? I took it to them. They're saying that, yo, we got to shave down the rotors, we got to do this and do that. I'm sitting here like, all right, man, just do what you got to do, and just give me the, how much it's gonna cost or whatever have you afterwards, right? I drop the call for early in the morning. I come back to get it later in the afternoon. You know, I catch the martyr back home. I catch the martyr back to the actual shop. I get back. I get in the car. I'm driving. I'm like, oh yeah, it's smooth or whatever have you. I put on the brakes and it goes, and I'm sitting here like, yo, I just paid this man this amount of money, right? I know if I take this guy to court, I'm gonna go through hell trying to get my money back, right? So I had to take the L. Now, some people may say, well, why don't you take it back? Why didn't you take it back to him? Why? So he can mess it up even worse?
Let me stop it there. So you guys get the he has a few more examples, but you guys get where I'm coming from with that. I mean, I don't know about most of us, but anybody else have that kind of experience where you wanted to go black and it didn't turn out so well and it kind of tainted you? From going back, maybe not to that person, but for the next guy. Has that happened to anybody? You know, or you just don't want to admit it? I mean, I think we all have a similar story about something, and you know, maybe for a little while it taints us, you know, against, you know, the next person who might have a good or service, and we got to fight against trying to stereotype everybody by one bad experience. You know, I mean, I've been there, but I try to overcome it. I don't give out. I mean, I have a few black vendors that I support on a regular basis, and I'll get to that later on. But of course, it happens. Now, there's another incident about something like this happening, and it's not only bad service. It's also sometimes the people themselves are not likable, right? We all know about having the wrong kind of receptionist for your business, especially if you're the front facing your business with customers. You have to have a receptionist, and if that person is wearing all kinds of bullshit on their sleeve, that can hurt your business. And unfortunately, I think it takes. I don't know why people don't understand that one. That's the easy one. If you don't have the right temperament, you should not be in front of somebody's business. You know, so anyway, so here's the next one. I think this is the next scenario that I'm gonna put up there. I think a lot of us are familiar with, and I'm gonna play that for a second. So I'm gonna play these, and then I'm gonna start getting into the point of the renaissance, or not the renaissance, but the emphasis on getting more black businesses started, and then of course I have a couple of videos on how we might help. And then I have some thoughts of my own, what we could do, because I'm gonna play with the numbers and see if you guys get where I'm coming from when I throw the numbers out there. All right, so the next one I think we're all familiar with. It's an old one, but I just need it just to illustrate a point. All right. It's this incident.
He's built a massive career off of doing food reviews and extremely kind gestures to small businesses. This man has turned struggling businesses into thriving businesses over and over again. And it's always interesting when he's brought up into these viral internet feuds, because Keith just seems like a blessing to everyone surrounding him. And this situation is no different. Keith just completely blessed their restaurant, and their own actions turn it into a curse. But this video starts off with the son of the business owner making this TikTok when he saw Keith was in Dallas.
Keith Lee is officially in Dallas. So I asked him for help and come to visit my mom's food truck to hopefully turn it around. She is an award-winning pastry chef, and she is a culinary chef. She has 2 degrees. We are just from Milwaukee, and here in Dallas, it's kind of hard with the marketing because we don't know our way even around yet.
Keith, I guess, saw this, pulled up and did his thing.
Well, we here. I got it. Let's try it. And rated 1 to 10. He spent $80.11. We are in North Dallas, Texas. We in a hood. I'm not going to say no other way. We in a hood. They outside cutting hair, doing braids, waiting on us. They both on live at the same time, him and his sister, but they outside ready. So we had to be 00 this whole time. I'm talking about 007 agents. It's a party out here. The customer service, my family said, was pretty good, and it was alive the whole time, so we can kind of see it. Only thing is, the only person cooking is the mama. So if you do come, please be patient. It's only one person there cooking, but it's a lot of people. So she got the option to have a lot of hands. I'm gonna show you everything I got, and we're gonna try it and rate it 1 to 10.
So he then goes on to review the food, even said it was good, but before he left their restaurant, this is what he did.
Before we left, we went in and had a conversation with the mom, and we thanked everybody for having us. Me and the mama prayed together, and we left with $4,000 tip behind. God, it's amazing.
I appreciate y'all for having us. I see y'all giving out haircuts and doing braids.
So we want to leave $1,000 for the barber. So we can trust everybody else. We want to leave $1,000. Put that here. We want to leave $1,000. Yeah. So please charge my barber $4,000. And after this, I pray and hope you reach your target audience. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe.
Yeah, that was an extremely nice thing to do. He blessed everyone there. How could they ever take this positive and turn it into a negative? But it's safe to say that things really turned into a car crash, or honestly, an absolute train wreck when one of the ladies made this video.
So a lot of y'all know yesterday I got to meet Keith Lee. Great. Congratulations. I'm still humbled by the experience. Like, I am ecstatic. Blessings to your family. I really appreciate you. But now this is where the downfall comes in. A lot of y'all was on my live when he said this.
I see y'all giving out haircuts.
My little brother, yeah.
We want to leave $1,000 to the barber so he can cut everybody.
Oh, that's my little brother. He went to go pick up my baby brother from school.
We want to leave you $1,000 to cut hair. We want to leave you $2,000.
And granted, everything was cool, right? Me being me and thinking everybody else is going to have the same genuine heart as me, I charged him $4,000 on his car, meaning all the money went to the food truck in hopes that she would do what she needed to do, right? Wrong. So after everything had died down, mind you, on top of him tipping $4,000, this man left an extra $886 to feed everybody else that was coming, right? Right. But this is where she went wrong. I'm in the truck. Mind you, I'm a worker. This is your business, so I'm doing what you say. She tell me after this person, which is a third person, that you got to start charging again. Now, it's one thing when he say I'm leaving this for free and for somebody to come and order like one of everything on the menu and try to get both desserts and drinks. Like, yeah, you can put a limit on that. But if this man left you almost $1,000, why the did you stop handing free food out after the third person?
Uh-oh.
All right, so we can stop it there also. I mean, we know what went down. This is an old story, but, you know, it's not an old story based on the kind of stories that come out of, you know, certain Black businesses. I mean, there's a recent, string of videos about the dining experience in Atlanta, you know, and how bad it is. You know, why would a lady who just got blessed, you know, get so greedy? I know it's hard. The margins are real small. You know, when you get that kind of money, she's thinking of all the things she probably could have done if she just had all that money to herself. But sometimes you don't have to exercise what you're thinking about. And I think it pretty much closed down her business. You know, I mean, for a while, I don't know if she reopened it or they moved to another location where they could forget about this incident. But I know for a while they were kind of shuttered, you know, because the next couple of days when she set up her truck, nobody came. You know, so, I mean, one of the things that I think that we had an advantage when there was segregation is because it was forced, you know, people were forced to go to Black businesses. And there was a good side to that for the good businesses, and there was a bad side to that because when you knew that you had a captive audience, you didn't necessarily have to be the best quality or the nicest, proprietors because people didn't have nowhere else to go. So when integration came, people fled out of the neighborhoods, and now you're competing on a grander scale. And one of the things that the so-called leaders at the time didn't talk about was the full impact of integration on the way Black people were living. You know, the Black flight from Black people because of where we started seeing a class divide. You know, I think our so-called leaders didn't really think about that. You know, I think at one point, even Martin Luther King started to say, man, what have I done? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, of course, that's no excuse for having a bad business today, right? If you're going to get into business today, you should have all of the trappings of being a good business. But we still carry some of those bad reputations, you know? So, you know, that could be a reason why we don't get more than that $206 billion for the businesses that we have, you know? So anyhow, one of the things, so I wanted to just keep kind of going through some of the things. So now there are some, different areas where they push. I think there's like a Black Business Month. I think it's August. I'm not sure. I think there's a August. Now, we're talking about diners. That's the easiest one. But, of course, it's not all about feeding people. But, you know, there's all kinds of different businesses we could talk about, services that that you don't have to pull up and get some food. But, you know, there's some pushes. There's a month. So I got a couple of other videos, and I was just going to plow through so we can see what's going on from that standpoint. All right, so what's the next one? Let me and I'll drop the link after this one. All right. This is just another one about a lady talking about the support.
Black-owned businesses are unprofessional. For Hype Plus, I'm Tatiana LaJoy. Black-owned businesses are unprofessional. Many people in the Black community have either said or thought this at one point or another. This statement stems from various experiences that ultimately lead to them spitefully banning Black-owned businesses from their shopping, date night outings, or self-care expenditures. In 2021, the growth in Black spending power reached $1.6 trillion, which doubled since the year before, yet our wealth has fallen by 14%. This means that 99% of our buying power is spent outside of our community. These statistics imply that Black people know how to make money, but we do not know how to keep it. The Black dollar stays in our community for 6 hours, while it stays in the Asian community for 28 days.
Well, it's actually a couple of things. For one, we could seem that we're rude.
Before I go on, now remember what she said, right? 99%, I don't know if it's 99%, but let's just go with her estimate of our dollars go to people and to services other than to Black people. That's a lot. That is absolutely a lot. Not going to Black businesses. So, and then the most of us heard that metric that, you know, our dollar circulates in our community only like for 6 hours and then it's gone. Yeah, there's your reparation check, by the way. Boom, it's gone. And then, of course, the other one about the Asians. And nobody, of course, you can't mention the small hats by name, but they're probably up there with, 28 days or more as well.
Then it's not all about good customer service.
That's a problem. Why am I spending my money with you and you're too sensitive to even take the criticism necessary needed?
Areas that it's so expensive, which I can understand. Certain people or certain places, they kind of hit you over at a price.
Hating. That's all I can think of is hating, just because of the fact that they see one person doing their thing. It's hard for them to congratulate them.
There has to be a reason why Black-owned are the only businesses that are blackballed by their own community. You don't see this sort of attitude in other ethnic communities. Could it be because of systemic oppression, personal irresponsibility, deep-rooted psychology, or is it all of the above? Here's why Black people don't support Black-owned businesses. A common frustration among many African Americans is our constant appropriation of our culture. We are so proud of our culture because of everything it represents: strength, vitality, perseverance, and flavor. There's no denying that Black is beautiful. But if we truly believe this, why do we not profit on our culture as much as other races do? One reason for this is because we lack trust within our community. According to supportblackowned.com, there are even Black business owners that choose to not support Black businesses. When asked why, they answer that Black-owned businesses are unprofessional and no others besides theirs should be supported. But where does this unprofessional stereotype come from? Let's start from the bottom and determine what it takes to start a business. It takes a lot of effort to start.
Let me stop that right there because we don't need to go into that part of it. Other she said a couple of things, and I'm going to skip a little bit of that section and go back to some of this stuff, because I think she gets to some kind of solutions after they hit this part. I didn't want to veer off course, but she does for a little bit. So we're going to go to 340. And I think that's right around here.
And attracting paying customers. Getting customers is important, but keeping them is crucial. We live in a time where there's an abundance of small businesses and it's very competitive. Creating customer loyalty is the key to continued profitability for any successful business, and the best way to create customer loyalty is to have great customer service. This might be the biggest culprit of unsuccessful Black-owned businesses. Many customers complain about unprofessionalism, with stores being closed during business hours, business owners or employees with bad attitudes, and unapologetic bad service. Most Black people want to support Black businesses, but don't want to deal with the headache. At the end of the day, bad business is bad business, no matter where it's coming from. YouTube user at Natural Life wrote, I desperately want to support Black businesses, but I can't. Case in point, I live in Metro Atlanta. There are Asian nail shops and Black-owned shops. I've gone to Asians mostly, but now I refuse to give them a dime of my money. I tried going to Black-owned, but they have no clue how to run a business. I go to an Asian shop. I'm in and out in an hour or less. Black-owned, I was in there 3.5 hours. Asians smile at me and ask, what color you like? Black-owned roll their eyes and acted like I was bothering them. Very rude, gossiping with each other, cursing, etc. I just do my own nails now. I miss the Asian shop, but refuse. We do not understand how to run a business, many of us. Always running out of supplies, etc. My money is valuable to me. Treat me with the respect and do a timely good service, and I will support your Black-owned business. This is not to bash our people, but more so to take ownership of what is lacking and how it can be improved. Black company owners have a tendency to put minimal effort into their company and expect to be treated like businesses that do put the effort in. In this era where being woke is very prominent, many Black-owned businesses will rely on being Black-owned as the main reason why they should be supported. When they aren't supported, defense is the first reaction when it should be an opportunity for introspection and growth. But let's also talk about the Black-owned businesses that have done the work. They know their target audience, they spend money on advertisement, and they have a solid business plan. But some of these businesses suffer based on the bad stereotypes created by the less successful Black-owned businesses. There are two theories that may explain this. One is the crabs in a barrel mentality that our community unfortunately adheres to. The Black community simply has more haters than other communities, and that's why there are no Black communities like Chinatown, Little Italy, or Little Russia. The reason being is most Black people come from poverty-stricken backgrounds and tend to glorify hood attributes, being gangsta, hard, etc. If you are an individual that wants to rise above
Yeah, okay. All right. So, that's enough, right? It's funny. The Russians have the Russian mafia. The Italians had the mafia. I mean, there's a lot of people who came from bad neighborhoods, but they don't treat each other the way we do. So I don't buy that excuse, or if it was a legitimate excuse, it's not legitimate today. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of people who went through some shit and still learn how to dig themselves out, because crabs in the barrel, that saying wasn't just made for Black folks. I mean, we might be still using it. Even she said some other stuff as well about identity politics. Well, that's pretty much why y'all wanted to put a woman in the White House, right? So anyhow, it's a mentality. So it's a whole nother place we can go in at, but she's right about the mentality that hurts us. So what kind of mentality she goes into the Tulsa, Oklahoma thing. I don't want to go through that for a long time. But she's on the right track. We have to start making better business decisions. If you're going to be in business, you got to learn how to be in business properly. And you're going to have to do some changing if you want to deal with the public, because you don't want to just have Black people as your customers. You want to have almost everybody as your customers. Depending on what that service is or what that product you're trying to sell. So I think that's the kind of thing that's where we need to get to. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in here. Anybody wants to come up maybe and educate me a little bit on something. Let me see, make sure it's at the right link. Yes. Anybody just want to, of course, anybody comes up, we got to be on camera and that kind of stuff. Of course, I have some more videos that I want to show, because there's another guy who has a path forward as well. And I might just skip a couple of these just to show the ways to support the businesses. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. There's a guy who comes, and before I get started or continue, a happy Thanksgiving week. I know everybody's preparing. People are traveling. People have family coming in. I expected today to be kind of, slow. I don't know if it was just a topic. I'm thinking it's really, because I have family members coming in tomorrow. I got stuff on order. Matter of fact, I got a bag from Whole Foods waiting outside, and I think my wife just picked it up, for some stuff I'm a cook. And so, you know, and so it's going to be one of those kind of weeks. Of course, it's just going to be so much food and all that kind of stuff, which is something that's, you know, we never should take for granted as Americans that we can eat the way we do when we can, if we want to. So, of course, we be giving that stuff away because it's just me, my wife, and my daughter in here now. And so, but the family's coming in, so that should be nice. I'm gonna be watching football all week and all that. So getting back to this, I have another video where a guy talks about some more ways you can strengthen your opportunities by starting a business and trying to make sure when you attract customers to you, you can keep them. And so I think that's a good video. And then after a while, I'm gonna get back to the numbers and see. So, and that's what everybody wants to see. How much per average does the average Black consumer spend on Black businesses based on the assumptions that I'm gonna make? And so here's the other video.
Up to me saying, you know, Jared, what can I do to support Black-owned businesses? And my response, lots of things. So join me on the other side and let's talk about some of my personal views on how I think we all can make an impact in the African-American business community. And with social and economic equality on the minds of many nowadays in light of what happened in 2020, I wanted to do a video that goes a little deeper. Deeper in the sense of looking at ways to support Black businesses outside of just purchasing their goods and their products. And deeper in the sense of how to lend the support on an ongoing basis and not just during Black History Month. I've put several good links to articles and research in the description of this video below. So consider checking them out when you're done watching it, okay? So what's the first way a person can support a Black-owned business? Share their story and spread the word. One of my beliefs for all businesses is that visibility is huge. Helping and supporting Black-owned businesses only happens when we know about them. Have you ever been in a business and seen a bulletin board with a bunch of business cards on it from other local businesses? Well, that's one way that fellow business owners try to spread the word. Hey, here are some other businesses that you can support. So do your part by helping spread the word too. Doing things like following a business on social media and sharing their posts or their messages can go a long way in making people aware of their existence. And when you find an exceptionally good product or have a wonderful service experience, make sure that you tell your friends so that they too can potentially patronize that business when they have a need. Next, write and share a review. Another way to support your favorite Black-owned business is by leaving an online review on sites like Google, Yelp, and more. By expressing your support through a review, your favorite business can rise in localized search rankings for their services and products. As people look for ways to support the Black community, Google has launched a Black-owned attribute that businesses can add to their profile. It looks like a little black heart inside of a red circle. This allows people to better and quickly identify Black-owned businesses when they do searches and view maps to help people easily extend support to these businesses. But don't just write the review. I encourage you to take it a step further. Make sure you share your review on social media after you leave it. This goes back to the whole point about spreading the word. My next point, and this one is really, really huge, become an ally. What is 100% identical about every business in America? There's a real life person or people behind it. So get to know those people. Building an authentic relationship with a Black-owned business, their owners, and their team is the real key to supporting them. No one wants to become a check mark on somebody's good deeds list, but everyone can use a mentor or better yet, an ally. I have a fellow CPA with a practice in Park Ridge who has helped me in so many ways, it's hard to count. And guess what? He's an old school Irish guy. When I have an issue, I know that I have someone who is bigger than me, someone who has been through what I'm going through, and someone who can give me advice on how to navigate the problem that I'm facing, who is just a phone call away. There are a lot of us out here in the real world who are really doing it and really trying our best, but we're just having to learn on our own. If you have a business that is similar to mine, or you've been through the business ropes and you see me, a young African-American man or woman trying our best, reach out in a real way. You know, what's your business about? Hey, let's go and grab coffee or a sandwich. Sit down, tell me your story. You see, a good mentor knows that some sage advice can go a really long way in this world. And that advice could just be what a particular business owner needs to either survive or take it to the next level.
Yeah, hold it right there. What's going on, Trey? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. All right. Yeah, I got you. What's happening, man?
Not much. Is it just me, or is he talking in slow mo?
No, yeah, I mean he's. Yeah, I don't know how slow it seems okay to me. You know, I don't know if it's you. I hear a little echo in the background. You got new equipment or something? Do you hear me? It might be your equipment.
Yeah, I hear you just fine, but he said he's slow. He's not. He's frozen right now. Is he frozen?
Oh no, I stopped him. I stopped him. I stopped him. I halted him.
I can still hear him.
Oh, can you? Well, that's me. I halted him. I don't know. I don't know how it's still playing. You know, so maybe it's a lag. Maybe you got a lag because I halted him. So I don't think anybody else. Because I only have one stream of the guy, so it's not working properly. Maybe I don't know why it's disconnected. But anyway, let me go ahead and finish. And once I get this down, we can finish. We'll finish talk.
My last observational point: recirculate your dollars. We know spending within the Black community is one way to support it, but everyone, including you, can impact Black-owned businesses by recirculating their spending within the community. Listen, we've all heard about how little time dollars spent within the African-American community actually spend within the community before they leave. Howard University actually did a little myth debunking on this topic because we've all heard this statement, but actually proving it is a little bit more of an issue. If you'd like to read their article, I put a link to it in the description of this video, so feel free to check that out. But fact or myth aside, if you want to support a community and help it grow, giving it the economic engine to do so is key. So when you make your purchases, consider buying them from the community businesses on the lowest level of the supply chain first. For example, say you buy a sandwich at a small Black-owned deli. The deli pays its worker, a local African-American mom, a wage. The local mom takes her money and she gets her hair done at a local neighborhood salon. The neighborhood salon buys its hair products from a local supplier, and that local supplier donates 5% of its sales to a neighborhood charity. And the cycle continues until someone moves the money to either a regional or a national company. By intentionally choosing to spend your dollars at the base of the supply chain with Black-owned businesses, you give those dollars a greater chance to impact their communities as opposed to when they are spent with the largest players first. Now, if you have a question that you would like us to answer in a future episode, then feel free to shoot us an email via the address in the description below. And did you find value in this video? Then please consider.
All right, so I hear where he's coming from, and not a bad deal. All right, so what's going on, man? You all ready for Thanksgiving? What's going
I actually won't be. I won't be celebrating Thanksgiving with the family this year.
Okay. You said you're traveling?
I won't be celebrating Thanksgiving with the family this year.
Okay. I hear you.
They've allowed their political views to
get out of here.
To taint. Well, it's not all of them. It's a particular person in my family who wants to censor. She wants to control the conversation. We've always talked about politics in our family, but for whatever reason this year, because Kamala lost, they don't want to talk about. They're basically trying to censor me and a couple other of my family members who they know voted for Trump. So that's why. And so I just said, well, I'm not going to be censored, so I won't be there. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot say. So I won't be going this year.
Okay, they actually want to have a conversation to talk about it, but they're going to tell people they can't say this and say that.
Well, they don't want to have the conversation.
Okay.
They don't want to talk about it at all. But my argument was, we talk about everything. We're family. We talk about everything. Nothing's off the table.
I hear you. And now I hear you.
Now, yeah, but now all of a sudden you don't want to talk about it because you didn't. The person that you wanted to win didn't win, and now you don't want to talk about it. Nah, don't worry about it. I'm just not going to. It's an attempt to, like I said, to silence me and a couple of cousins of mine who they know. And I find it quite funny because it's the men. Yeah, it's the men. Also, all the men voted for Trump. So.
That's funny, man. So, what do you think about what do you think about our plight with supporting Black businesses? Or do we have an issue?
Oh, we clearly have an issue. We clearly have an issue. But I think that a lot of it is We once again have allowed the media, we've allowed social media, we've allowed the rhetoric to tell us that, you know, all black businesses are unprofessional or black businesses are, you know, the customer service is bad. And I've been to a bunch of white businesses with terrible customer service. I've been to a bunch of white businesses that were unprofessional, and yet people still, you know, frequent and still spend their money with these, you know, with these businesses. So, you know, this idea that you can't go to a black business and get good treatment or get good quality service, excuse me, or even get good quality products, I think it's BS. And I think it's just a lot of, you know, like I said, the media and people, you know, like that one guy said, oh, I'll never go back because he had one bad experience, you know, with one person, which I think he's lying about. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that, you know, somebody works on your car, they always drive your car around just to make sure that what they worked on they did it correctly. I've never seen anybody not, you know, test the car out. But if you go to a back alley shop to go get your car, you're gonna get what you paid for.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
Hey,
his girl told him, take it to a real mechanic. That's what she told him. You even said that.
You can still take it to a real mechanic and it can still be a black owned
Yeah,
shop.
I know, but I think she was telling him, listen, you know, he probably told her, I got these guys who could do it. She said, why don't you go to somewhere else, you know, we could trust, you know? And he said, nah, I know these guys.
Can I tell you why I'm a big proponent of this? Because I miss you guys' conversation on reparations. I'm not trying to go towards reparations.
No, go ahead.
But this is a big part of it. If we are serious about getting reparations, the first thing we got to do is start spending money with each other first. Right. We have to set the infrastructure that we spend money with each other first. It makes no sense for us to go get reparations, get all this money, and 90% of the money we spend outside of our community. That makes no sense. Zero. That makes no sense. All the money is just going to go right into the other communities. So one of the first things we have to do is start spending money with each other first. Then we can do reparations. That way, when the money does come in, if it ever does come in, when the money does come in, we spend the money with each other and not with other people outside of our community. So that's why I'm big on this. Like, if you're going to do this, you got to do this the proper way. There has to be infrastructure set up so that we don't blow it. If this ever happens, we don't blow it, because otherwise, there are going to be other communities who will sit there and say, "Oh, don't worry about it. Give them the money because it'll be ours within 30 days anyway."
Absolutely. But you know what? Funny that those reparation plans that I did read from California, they didn't emphasize the change in our spending habits. That wasn't
because they don't want us to change our spending habits. It's beneficial to them. What was the statistic? 99%? Why would they ever want us to change our spending habits?
But not even them. I'm talking about those reparation plans were like written by black folks. Mostly black people ran the committees. So you would think that if they were thinking like you just said, they didn't have anybody on the committee say, hey, you know, how about we also have a plan to change the way we spend money? Or, you know, who we support, so those dollars stay in the community. That sounds like that should have been a chapter.
No, I completely agree. That's why this buying from black, working with black businesses is so important. It's important that if you can go get your toothbrushes from a black-owned company, go get them from a black-owned company. You can get your deodorant, you can get your body butters and your lotions and your laundry detergents, and then, all these things. If you can get these little simple things that you use every day, your toilet paper, for instance, you can get these things every day. That's a start. That's a step in the right direction. That's why I put that website in the chat, www.naspora.com. You can get a lot of household items delivered straight to your front door, and it's a black-owned company. You know what I mean? And it's a website full of black-owned companies. But if we're serious, if the community is serious about fixing this economic, this hole that we have, it's got to start with us actually spending money and not listening to all this rhetoric of, well, if you go deal with a black business, it's going to be unprofessional. And it may be, some are, but I have also had some experiences where the black business was 8-1. Their customer service was some of the best I've ever had in my life.
Right. And it's out there, I mean, there are all kinds, except that, of course, the negative stuff dominates, which is bad. I got another video. This lady has like a gimmick about how to support black businesses. It's real short. So let's play that for a second. Got that one.
You guys, August is Black Business Month. So every day this month, I am trying to support a new Black business. That's going to be 31 businesses. I'm going to need your help. I need 31 Black businesses that I can support this month. Preferably a small business. I like to help smaller businesses so they can get up and running. And that can be anything. It can be food, clothing, accessories, shoes, handbags. It could be a service. If it's a service, obviously I would need it locally. I'm in South Florida. But it can be something online too. If there's an online service like a virtual assistant or something, I will hire you for the day. 31 businesses, y'all. I need y'all to drop 31 Black-owned businesses down in the comments so I can have 31 of them to support one each day of this month. You guys.
All right. So, you know, I see what of course, she's doing this so she can get, you know, supporters to look at her channel, which is not a bad idea. You know, so that will get people to do some research to get back to her and talk about the 31 businesses. So, but in doing that, those people are researching what businesses are out there. And so that's not a bad idea. But I mean, it's just one thing, a person who's conscious about, hey, trying to do something for the community, which is cool. And it takes all kinds. So that kind of grabbed me a little bit, you know. I can see why she's doing it, get some clicks, some views, and also get some ideas of what's out there. Now, were you here when I talked about this app? There's a Black app for businesses called Black.
Yeah, I had never heard of it. No.
Yeah, so I think it's in the store, the app store, right? You can it's free, download it. I think they probably have some things that might cost, and it's Black owned because I researched that. I said, is this a Black owned app? Man, it's a brother named John. I forgot his last name, but. You know, I saw some pictures of him. So it's a Black-owned Black app. And it looks like it's nationwide. And the difference between that and the Angie's List is that there's no, they don't accredit it. They don't do any kind of, you know, the businesses are not accredited, you know. Angie's List, at least they do some kind of research on the business for you to get on the Angie's List. I've used some of those services before. And that's a funny thing about going to like a Black plumber or a Black person to do something in your house. I find a lot of these businesses have a lot of Hispanic workers and stuff like that. But the reason why it takes, I have to go to a place like Angie's List because I'm too dog shit stupid to be a good consumer. You know, somehow you have to be, if you want certain things done, I wouldn't know whether this guy is better than that guy. Like to fix the boiler or do this, I'd have to go look and dig to see what's your rep like. You know, where were you vetted? You know, of course, the point is, if I'm just saying, okay, if I use identity politics, then I'm potlucking it. You know, I did that with a plumber once on a piece of my thing. I said, you know, I said he was overcharging and everything else. I said, hey, you know what? Let me let the experts say. If I'm a free the economy, I got to make sure the person I'm doing is vetted. They have all the credentials, especially if they're doing roof work. They got to make sure they have like insurance and all that kind of stuff. Or cut down your trees. They got to be bonded. I guess that's the word they use. If they fall on your property, that lawsuit's gonna wipe your ass out. You know. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff. Hey, his ghetto point of view. What's going on? Yeah, Champ. Oh, Champ talks. What's going on, Champ? I mean, the link is in there. If any of you guys want to come up and talk, y'all got some experiences. The link is in the chat for StreamYard. Anyway, the one thing I also wanted to show is how we as individuals could support. And I think we heard some of that. I mean, the one thing we all have in common is that we all consume. We all have money to spend on something, right? And that's the thing I think that I don't think we think enough of where's our dollars going, right? We're creatures of habit. If we get one service that's really good, you know, whether it's Black owned or not, we will tend to keep going back to that particular service and until they mess up or they're no longer in service, as opposed to looking to expand. Like, for example, Anissa likes I think she belongs to a wine service, or maybe several of them. But they got a couple of sisters who have a winery. You know, I don't know if that's one of her services. From what I understand, these sisters are pretty successful with their winery. I mean, you could have many services. Maybe that might be one, because they might have a specific kind of wine that's better than the one you already have. And I'm just using that as an example. Like, for example, I grew the stupid beard. You know, at first I said, okay, shit, now I got to learn how to keep it up a little bit, right? So Lapeef had a Assured Man. He had some stuff for beards and shit. You know, so I bought my first stuff from his business, right? Because I was on the Twitter.
He had his own business?
Yeah, well, him and his one of the ladies named Sugar Curl, they teamed up and had a business called the Assured Man. It was just beard product. Just beard, you know, the creams and all that. And so that was my first set of products I bought from his website. You know, I didn't even think about it. I said, okay, where am I going? So I know he did that. So, and then I don't think they're no longer in business. Because when I went to reorder, they had an issue shipping to New Jersey. Then I found another Black business called Respected Roots. So I go to them. You know, I mean, you know, and then if you do a subscription, it's cheaper. But, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I said, well, if I'm going to keep this up, I mean, I might shave the shit off anyway, but I was going to go to a Black business for that. Of course, you know, those kind of things. I was going to get into that. And I think everybody, you know, whoever's in the chat, I think everybody's kind of doing that. If they don't, it's something to think about. So here, I just got another video. I'm going to just go through these videos anyway. I don't know if you heard of this brother. It's a young dude. And this is not necessarily about consumerism, but I wanted people to hear this guy because he does some stuff in the community.
How you doing?
I'm doing excellent, sir. How are you?
Very good. So what is
So we did a summer camp out of the house. Had 20 boys come to my house.
I don't know why.
Basketball goal over here.
About the Extra Boys program and how you came about it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm King Randall, 21 years old. I'm the founder of the Extra Boys program. I started this program when I was 19 years old, January of 2019, just before Baby King was born. I started this program simply because of the lack of, I'll say, attention that was given to our boys in the city of Albany. At one point, we were the highest ranked for murder per capita in the United States, and as well as we were the fourth poorest city in the nation. And so every time something happens in our city, whether somebody gets killed or et cetera, well, a boy in particular, people want to have meetings, and every time I go to these meetings, people want to, you know, get all philosophical and things like that, but nobody wanted to do anything, or they'd say things like, well, the kids don't have a basketball goal over here, they need a pool or something. I'm just like, no, these children need some mindset changing, because if they get a basketball goal, all they do is just shoot each other at the basketball court. Like, they really need some guidance in men in their lives. So I started this program. I did a field trip. I made a flyer on my phone. I took the kids to Atlanta to the Center for Civil and Human Rights, and I took them to the African American History Museum. And when I took them on this trip, I kind of knew that's what I was supposed to be doing, because while I was there, the children, the questions that they were asking and them wanting to be out of their condition, that's how I knew that the children are where I was supposed to be. And quite frankly, honestly, the school idea didn't come, you know, until one day I was listening to Malcolm X. And of course, in our community, a lot of us who are pro-Black or what have you, a lot of them, you know, listen to Malcolm and Martin and things like that. But we would talk about them, but nobody would like really push what they actually talked about in their speeches. So I heard a debate between Malcolm and Bayard Rustin. And Malcolm said, if white immigrants could come to this country years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, come and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, set up stores, develop those stores into larger stores, which turns into an industry, which creates job opportunities for their own kind. He said, with us at that time having spending power of $20 billion, today it's over $1 trillion, not using any of that money to set up any industry, not setting up any factories, not setting up any job opportunities for our own kind, we're not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and claim that he's discriminating against us for not giving us jobs and factories we hadn't set up. So I'm listening to this, I'm like, this sounds like 2021. So I'm just like, man.
Let me stop it there. Right. See, Trey, I got to ask you a question. I gotta ask you a question on that one. Yeah, listen, I don't know. I don't want to go too down to the politics, but isn't it funny if you wanted to make a correlation between how we vote and how destructive our community is and the way we think? Isn't it connected? Isn't it all connected? You know what I'm saying? I mean, the amount of energy we put into one party, and we don't have anything to call our own but victimization, identity politics, ratchetness, bad mayors based on the color of their skin, all that dumb shit. Now listen,
and the worst part about it, our fans, we still don't profit off of none of it.
That's what I'm saying.
Even all of the negative things that happen in our community, we still don't make no money off it.
Exactly.
And this guy, first of all, kudos to him because he's doing amazing work. And he's been getting a lot of criticism lately because he voted
because Elon Musk.
And Elon Musk retweeted him.
Right.
Elon Musk retweeted him. Or either he made a comment, but either way, he shed some light to what the work that this brother's been doing. Been doing great work for a while now. And people have been unfollowing him. They don't want to give him donations, and it's simply because he's literally trying to do better. And I know we use the crabs in a barrel, thing. All races have crabs in a barrel. It's not just us. All races have crabs in a barrel. But for whatever reason, to me, it just seems like it's like we get a guy that's doing well, and instead of us championing him and encouraging him and getting behind him, we want to look at his political views, and now we don't want to. Well, I don't want to go with him now. Let's focus on the work. Is the work he's doing? Is the work good? The work's great, actually. The work's great, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. No, go ahead, finish. Oh, okay. Listen, one of the things I was going to say is, now I hate to just say the Republicans or the conservative values. If we forget about the parties, but conservative values. If we went down a conservative road in the numbers that we went down the Democrat road, we would be thinking about the things he said. What to do with your money, how to how to invest in your own communities, how to barter better with other communities based on shared needs and services. That's how they get around. Whether you integrate all your stuff or not. I got a service, you got a service. We could barter both back and forth, right? Or even if we were opening up grocery stores, right? The Koreans and the Chinese or Koreans, whoever it is, they have collectives. So they all get together and they buy in bulk, right? I need 1,000, I need a ton, you need a ton, you need a ton. And we need to buy this, and they buy it together. So they get the cheapest price. So their prices at the retail store is always competitive. Those are those kind of things. Now, one of the things that we know where he's coming from. I'm glad other people heard from him. The reason why I put this out here, because we're talking about consumerism, these are local heroes. He's like a local hero, right? A lot of people are not wired to do the kind of work he's doing. Black, white, or indifferent. Working with boys, reclamating neighborhoods. Some people are more hands-on like that. So he's a kind of hero, from a local hero from that standpoint. You have a group, I don't know how many kids in your group, right? I don't know, 10, 20, I don't know. A lot of people can't, there's people who can't do that. They're not wired to do that kind of stuff. Even if they're smart enough to do it, working with people and taking on their responsibility, that's a special way to serve. Like Trey Ferg, right? He's a coach, but he sounds like hundreds of kids that he's mentored over the years. So there's a lot of people like that. So the correlation I was trying to make to what we're talking about today is, since we can be our own internal heroes for the so-called what's left of the community by actually finding Black businesses to support. You don't have to be a hero. You don't have to advertise it. Or you can spread the word, but from the comfort of your own home, with all the shit we spend every month, right? If we did an experiment, not an experiment, but we did a little research and said, you know what, instead of buying this shit from this guy, I found a quality vendor who's Black owned, I could buy it from that person. Or I could buy this. I can get the service from this person. I can get the service from that person. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be consistent. And we just need more people to do that. So it's like being your own internal, hero without having to be, if you're not an extrovert, or if you don't know how to, organize a whole bunch of people, that's not the only way to support the, diaspora. We could do it from the comfort of our own home every single month.
This is also a part of getting off the plantation.
Exactly.
This is also a part of it. If every dollar that you make is going right back to the plantation owners, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You gotta buy from people who look like you. And like I said, I get it. I know a lot of people have had some bad experiences. I get it. I've had bad experiences. I've had some terrible experiences on pain, and I was on duty. I was on duty trying to, support or help out, because they would always come by and say, hey, we doing this, come by and come get a plate, or come by this, come by that. And so during the course of my day, I'm on duty for 10 hours. I'd drive my little cruiser over there and I'd go spend $20, $50 with them, whatever. And I've been cursed out on duty. I was like, I'm just coming over here to, support, well, I get it. We've had bad experiences, but to me, you got to give the other institutions, these other corporations, the same attitude you give the black ones. If you get bad service from the black ones, and I want you to give Walmart's the same service, I want you to give the Targets the same. Every time you go to the Chick-fil-A, everywhere you go, if you get bad service from them, give them the same energy that you gave that black business. Because we quick to quit on a black business.
Yes.
Quick to quit on them.
Yes, we are.
But Walmart hike prices up every week, and don't nobody say nothing.
There you go. So in keeping with that, I did some more numbers, right? And bear with me with this. So again, I said there's 42 million black people out there. That's 13.6% of the population, right? And if I just took from 18 and up in the black community, that's 32 million folks, right? So that's roughly 76% of that 42, right? And so if the total amount of support to black businesses for the whole United States is only $206 billion in a given year, how much of that is, so I'm extrapolating, if that 76% actually supported those black businesses, what contribution is that 76% of just 206, right? So I did the numbers, right? 13% of the population, 76% of that 13. So the blacks contribute only $21 billion to that 206. And if you do that per month, that's like $55 a month. Now, this is just a swag, right? Just to normalize the numbers. Now, we know that some people, a very small number of blacks, try to exclusively buy from black business. That's got to be a really small number. And then we know that there's a larger number, probably too big, who don't buy anything from black people, right? And so everybody else is going to be in the middle. So if I normalize that, so we're spending like maybe just $55 a month on our own businesses, So I mean, so the numbers, of course, there's a lot of assumptions I had to make to come up with that number. So I just use the numbers to do it. So that's like a normal distribution, normalized. So here's the thing. So I was saying, how do we improve on that? Right. So how do we improve on that? If that's a bad number, right? If that's a low number, how do we improve on that? And what does the approval look like? So here's what I did. I said, listen, if we just increased, if everybody who's contributing and just increased by $100 a month, so now it's $155 a month as opposed to just $55 a month. How would that change that 21 billion over the course of the year? So if 10% of the population who are consumers actually up their ante to 155, that's what this number is. So 10% more, 3.2, right? 3.2 of this 32 million actually spent money on a black business at a rate of $155 a month. So that number goes up to 25 billion. The 20% goes up to 29 billion. 50% goes up to 40 billion, and so on, right? And so what I was saying, based on the numbers of people saying that our dollars only circulate like 6 hours in a community, it's probably fair to say that in organic support, the black dollars are down at this low end. You see where I'm going with that? And then the Asian, the Hispanic, the Asian, and the small hat dollars are closest to this end. Because if I went to a small hat guy, he probably could tell me the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker who pray at the same church.
Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask the chat. Just indulge me for a second, chat. For those of you who don't spend a lot of money with Black businesses, and you just put in the chat, is it because you don't know where to go? Is it just because you don't know where the businesses are to find them? It's not that you don't want to, but maybe you can't find them, or is it just that you just made the decision? No judgment, no judgment. I'm just curious because when I look at these, obviously these are estimated numbers. I get that, but when I look at these numbers, I mean, we're talking about 20%. That's a huge change. If just 20% spent $100 more, that's a huge change. So I'm just curious to the chat if y'all would just indulge me. If for those of you who don't spend or do spend or do want to spend, is it because you don't know where to go? You want to, you want to buy with Black businesses, but you don't know where to go exactly to get it. Because I will say this, and I wrote this in the chat earlier. I think Ed would agree with me. Our Black businesses, they need to take business classes.
Yeah.
This idea, I know you don't need them necessarily to start a business, but we need to take business classes because one of the things that's a part of a business class or a business curriculum is marketing. And you need the marketing because a lot of times most people don't know. They don't know where to go. They don't know because you didn't market. You didn't develop a budget for marketing, right? Especially in a day and age of social media and how quickly things can go viral for free and things of that nature. Like this really should not really be an issue that we don't know where to go. If you wanted to find the best laundry detergent, if you wanted to find the best fabric softener or the best soaps, or maybe your kid has eczema, you should be able to go onto your social media and find the best soaps for your kid for eczema, or whatever the case may be. So I'm just wondering, is it just a situation where people want to spend with Black businesses, they just don't know how or where to go?
Well, and that's why I started out by saying, okay, we don't have an Angie's List, but you have an app. Everybody has that phone, a smartphone.
But even like me, I had never heard of that.
Right. That's why I said, you know what? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I listen. Because when I was doing this, you know what? I put that in last minute. I said, well, if I'm gonna say all this, I mean, I should have at least a suggestion. So I actually downloaded the app. I didn't get a chance to look at all the intricacies, but it is specifically for what it says it does. It's a Black app. No matter where you are, you put your location in, and you talk about what kind of business you're looking for. And I don't know how thorough it is. I just don't know, but it's free. So everybody should just at least download that. So that might help out. And so I think that's a good little service. Now, he might have some paid things on there that you might have to pay a fee for, for more deeper information. I don't know. So, but I'm going to check it out after I get off there this live. But so that's B. Go ahead.
Well, again, that's a part of the business structure. Because what should be happening is that if he has a Black app, it should be free for people to use, but there should be advertisements, and these Black companies who have put budget for marketing should be advertising on the
his app. That's right.
See what I mean? Like that, it feeds itself. Everybody's eating that.
Now, he might have that. I don't know. I didn't get into the deep. That might be that might be a feature in there for those people to get added. Because it's costing money to find those businesses, and that's advertising for them if people are looking in their local area. So they would probably pay for it being mentioned. So, so that's it. So to me, this is for the little guy, not the little guy. It's just an average everyday person who consumes every month. You could support a Black business of your liking. Like, for example, this guy, Eric July, is on YouTube, right? He got tired of identity politics with Marvel and DC. So he started his own comic book company. I remember, so he's a radical political man. He can't stand nobody. So that's when I was listening to him. So he started his comic book business. So I subscribe to that. You know, I buy the shirts and the merchandise and stuff like that. You know, I read the comics. Some are better than others, but you know, I buy one to read and I buy two, one to read and one to keep in the package, just in case, you know, it ever blows up. And it won't even be for me; it'll be for my kids. So my grown kids, maybe there's other kids. So. I don't know, but that's a support, right? I mean, it's not a lot of money. I do sponsor one of these Passport Brothers, not a lot of money, because I like the idea of a young guy going out, exploring, even if he's a knucklehead. But it was good to see him grow up on that journey. And the reason why that made me interested, I had a cousin, and I'll be real quick. He left, he was living in New York. He didn't have much, just a high school education. He wanted to start a new life in Vegas. So he left during Christmas time to drive to Vegas. So every night, it was like we were blogging on where he stopped every night. With the, you know, he got like a flat the first night, the tickets he got, what he ate in the morning. So he had like a whole bunch of people like, you know, okay, I'm in this town, this town. You know, and it was interesting. It kind of kept him company because he's like chronicling the trip because he's by himself, and had a whole bunch of people, me and a couple other family members, checking in on him every night on that journey. And it was like a week. It took him like a week to get out because he made some stops, slept over, didn't try to rush it. I said, that was pretty good. I thought that was pretty good. So when this guy, of course, went out and a complete knucklehead on some of the stuff, but I didn't disagree with a lot of stuff he said, but he was just crazy. It's good to see this guy mature, but I give him like $5 a month. Now, you know, to keep him, and whatever that contribution.
You out here supporting Austin Holloman's degeneracy.
Yes. You know, but I think it's bigger than the fact that he was a more of a knucklehead. He did one. I don't listen to him that much before. The $5 doesn't mean that much to me, but it's a support. He did a live on, I think it was with the slave place. I forgot what it was. Anguilla. I forgot that one big slave thing that's famous where they had
he was in Ghana, I think.
Where the slave quarters and all this, and he hired a local guy, right? The guy had less teeth than me. But the guy was a great guy. That was one of his better lines. I mean, this dude was so thorough. And they were going through all the quarters and all that kind of stuff. I said, man, you know, the brothers used to, talking about selling your people down the road, man. You know what I'm saying? The black people sold some black people. And that was crazy. We never talk about that part. You know,
this is why I'm adamant that the infrastructure has to be there first. You can fight for reparations all you want. You can fight for what's owed to our community all you want. Foundational Black Americans, all that, you can do all of that. But until you set up the infrastructure that Black people spend with Black people first before they do anything else, you are wasting time, and all you're gonna do is give all those trillions of dollars right back to the
man.
communities. Yep,
You know, here's another thing. You know what's going to happen and nobody's talking about? That foundational Black American shit and the ADOS thing. If you know, because it's going to discount people who are not FBA as if they didn't go through Jim Crow. Right? Say your parents came from the Caribbean in the early 1900s. They might not have been slaves, but Jim Crow and all that red line and all that shit kicked their ass too. So, but they don't get nothing. Right, so they don't get nothing because they have. Man, can you imagine how crazy it's going to be in the Black community when you get a check and you're purple black, and there's other purple black.
That's why this is so important. That infrastructure, and I'm not just talking about spending with each other. I'm talking about the financial literacy. I'm talking about the educational programs. Like everything has to be set up. This has to be ready to be when if it ever happens. And the money starts, like I said, and it's a big if it ever happens. But if you pour that money in now, they're just gonna blow it, right?
Yeah.
That structure has to be set up, and spending money with Black-owned businesses is a part of that infrastructure. I know a lot of Black people that just aren't comfortable for whatever reason. They're just not comfortable. They don't seek out Black business. They don't look for it. They think everybody's trying to scam, and oh, it's a
Right.
scam, it's a
Right.
hustle. And it's like, so what? It's a hustle. There's some kids that hang out every day in front of the Walmart. When I go, every time I'm there, they there. And they always talking about, you want to donate. I know they hustle. I don't give a damn. Give me the Oreos. I don't care. Yeah, just, you know what I mean? Like, we got to get past that. I know you
Right.
hustle. I know you probably went in the store and stole them Oreos. I don't care. I don't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? Here, take the $5 or whatever it is. We got to get past this. Even when I was on duty, I know them kids stole that stuff. I know they stole our thing. I knew they stole it. I didn't care. Here, man, just take the money. Because there are people who they're just not comfortable. They feel more comfortable giving their money to somebody who doesn't look like us, which I find to be that's alarming.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah. It's funny though, because what you just said. I remember I was out in Arizona. It was just Arizona when this happened with a couple other people, Chinese guy, another guy, and it was a young Black girl. She was like 14, and she said, "I don't have bus money to get home." Right, and she said, "I got to," so I gave her like $5 because it was like someone cheaper than that. And the guy said, "She's gonna go just use drugs with that." I said, "That's not my problem." I said, "I have $5." She said she had to go. What she does with that is she's telling the truth. She got a trip home. If she's not, I gave it to her. I said, "Therefore, the grace of God goes all the rest of us." That's not hurting me. I took her at her word, and maybe she was telling the truth. So you know what I'm saying. So
you gave the money in good faith,
and that's all that matters.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the way that goes. But anyway, so this is what I'm saying. I think the issue is that we're actually, even with all my estimates, even if the numbers are off, I think we'd be hard pressed to say Black support to this is at that very low end. It's at that low end, and I'm probably being generous. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think we can do better than $55 a month.
Yeah, there's no
I
doubt.
think we can do better than $55. I really do. I think we can do better. What I would really like to see is, our community start to get into these tech spaces. While we can't have our own phones or our own, communication system or phone line or something like that. I would like to see them start to get to these tech spaces, these laptops, these iPads. Not iPads, but these tablets.
Yeah.
Why we don't have a Black-owned company that produces those, when these are things that everybody's gonna have for now and in the future. They're gonna have this in the future. Everybody's gonna have a phone. Everybody's gonna have a tablet. We don't have a Black-owned company that makes TVs, not that I know of. Everybody's got a TV. Everybody's got a laptop. Why haven't we gotten into these spaces? I don't know. Maybe there's a monopoly on it with Microsoft and Dell and all those. I'm not completely sure. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think our community's got to focus on things that we know people are going to use every day. We know they're going to use phones and laptops and tablets. And, we know that. I do see us, the social media space. I think, anytime it's involved in entertainment, we're fine. We can do entertainment.
Right.
But outside of entertainment, it seems like we get stuck in the mud a little bit.
That is true. I don't. To me, to tell you the truth, I just think that our mindset is broken. It's locked in the wokeness, the identity politics, the victimization, and decades of that has stymied growth and has separated us from the community, right? Because all of those talking heads we see on TV, they don't live in those communities, man. They can't even relate to the folks in there. I mean, I'm gonna even try. I'm not one of those talking heads who sold us out, but I don't think I'd last on what's that, old block. I'm not gonna last on old block, And so what I'm saying is, all these guys, the celebrities who came up, millionaires and billionaires, talking down to people. At the same time, the mayors are flooding your neighborhoods with illegal aliens, taking what little money you have and telling you to like it. It's incredible. And then, okay, here's the thing. When I told my sister is mad at me too, because she's like a one, I said, listen, based on the way the women are acting after Kamala Harris lost, I couldn't imagine one of you people being president. I couldn't imagine one of you people being president. I mean, come on.
Well, I think her campaign showed their fiscal irresponsibility, right? I mean, $1.2 billion, and they still ended up in debt. I mean, you blew through $1 billion, and you still owe people money. I think they showed their fiscal irresponsibility. And maybe it was a good idea that she's not in there. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out.
Anyway, we'll find out. But my man has to. Like, I don't care about his cabinet picks. They say, they're all white, blah blah blah. I said, well, listen, we just got out.
Hey, why would they be black? Black people didn't vote for them.
Well, not only that, but why would we go ahead and tell you that we didn't vote for her because we didn't like identity politics, just to come back and say he needs to
play exactly.
Play that same game.
It doesn't make any sense.
We don't care. They can do the job.
And the question that I've asked is, well, can you point me in the direction of the black Republican that was better suited for the position? Who was overlooked? That was always my question. Who was overlooked for Secretary of State? Who was the conservative Republican that you know of? Right? And most people can't identify black Republicans because you don't identify with the Republican Party.
Right.
So you don't even know you don't even know who the black Republicans are.
Right.
So why would he select a bunch of blacks to be in his cabinet? 80% of the vote overall went to Kamala when it came from black people. I wouldn't put black people in my cabinet either.
Yeah, but you know what's funny though? That's not the reason why he didn't do it though. And
I know that, but I'm just saying from a logical sense.
From a logical standpoint, he didn't need to. And you know what? Did you see my live? You might not have been here. I did a live. Might have been last week or week before. I showed by the numbers that even if 100% of us would have voted, right? So even in each state, she would have won one state with 10 more votes. But that's it. He would have stayed without us at all. I said that's a message to black people that you're becoming very irrelevant to these guys as a front runner.
Better start having some more babies.
Yeah, that way.
Better start. I'm serious. You better have.
But not the way they want to have them, though. Not the way those women want to have them.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like, if you obviously,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
The way we're trending is that eventually the black vote won't mean anything.
That's right.
And so the only way to combat that is they have to start having some babies.
Well, think about this, though, right? Yeah. So listen, and have them under the right circumstances, right? But here's the point: that's almost done with, right? They're really, a lot of the women just don't want to do that. So, but here's another thing: right now, the Democrats need them as a buffer. They used to need them as a decision maker. Now we see that 100% would have just been a buffer and would have still lost. 4 years from now, there's going to be more people off that plantation, especially if Trump executes. I can see the black men vote going up to close to 40%. We're supposed to be 40 to 45%, and the black woman vote going maybe to 20%. And yes, I think we'll be better for it. I think we'll be better for that.
Especially if you have somebody that's coming from the Trump administration running for president. Let's say, for instance, Trump does well and JD Vance is next up.
Right.
You're gonna have black men that are gonna back them because they want to keep that. They want to keep the Trump. It's like football almost, right? Like you pull from the Belichick tree. You pull from the tree. Because that's what you want.
Hey, man, Vance is a brilliant guy, man. Vance is like a brilliant dude.
He's confrontational, too. That's what I like. He's not scared of people.
That was a good pick. And they had Walls. I don't even see how he became governor.
And Vance did not. Vance was an anti-Trumper, too.
I know.
mean, Vance went in on Trump.
I know.
And I love when they asked him about it. And he said, look, I can change my mind. I got a chance to sit down and talk to him. and I can change my mind. He didn't back down for what he said. He just said, I got a chance to change my mind. That's all he said. I got a chance to change my mind, and I'm going to work with him. He didn't say, I regret.
Hey, man, you know what? Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's kind of quiet this week, man, because of the, maybe it's a topic, maybe it's me, maybe it's just the fact that it's Thanksgiving, people moving around. You know, my wife is like in Thanksgiving mode. You know, I gotta say, listen, we don't have to cook everything tonight. You know, that's because she's already in the zone, so I gotta leave her alone. You know, so I have my plans. I got some stuff brewing, but
I'm gonna enjoy not having to go anywhere. I'm going to kick back and I'm gonna watch football all day, and I'm gonna enjoy not having to go anywhere this year.
I don't like going nowhere. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch football all day too. I got my little cave done, set up, man. You know, I'll eat at the table with everybody. I'll have the game behind me on. Then after that, you know, little pleasantries and all that shit. Then I'm gonna go in the room and just chill out, watch the games all day long. And my wife bought me and I can say this freely too, because she used her own money. So that's why I like this chair, right? She bought me this like lazy boy and shit, and I put it in L for loser, and I'm like leaning back. I fall asleep in that chair every day. I mean, every time I use it, I can't stay awake in that damn chair.
You said L for losers.
Well, you know, it has an L. You know, you put the thing and it puts you like in an L position, right? You know, that's just a joke. You know, you got the beer over here, you got this over there, you got the bucket of popcorn, whatever the hell you use. So that's the loser position. You know, you can't sit in that chair for life. This guy's been found dead in those chairs. You know, I'm not going to be one of them. So, but it's a nice chair, though. It's just electronic. It heats up and all kinds of shit, man. You know, so I'm watching TV. And when I go back in the room and I sit in that one, I say, oh, man, you know, it's so comfortable. So she pissed me off. I go down there and sleep in it.
You know what's funny? Edward said all of his picks are pedos or SA people. The president of the United States is one of the creepiest people I've ever seen, and y'all voted for him. He ain't here sniffing women's hair and rubbing on their arm, but you voted for him now. Come on, man. I don't make no sense. Come on, man.
Get out of here. All his picks are bad. Get out. That's so funny.
He always sniffing women's hair. It's okay for him to be the president, though. Okay, all
right. That's all right. Anyway, man, any parting thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, this holiday season, like I said, if you can go for any website where you can support Black businesses, by all means, if you can, you know what I mean? If you got the disposable income, or if you need some household items, you know what I mean? By all means, Cory Booker, seriously, you should be allowed to vote. We should take your right to vote.
Oh, you voted for Cory Booker?
Cory Booker?
Cory Booker is the only man I know who could use Rosario Dawson as a front.
He's a woman.
Yeah, remember that farce of a relationship he had with her?
Yeah, I know. I remember. She was more masculine than he was.
Cory Booker. You know what?
Cory Booker.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Listen, man, I think the black folks in the Democratic Party, like I used to be, they let us down. They let the black community down. And the ones who still letting us down it's more of a shame than anything else. Because they completely ignore the fact that we haven't kept up the way we should have with all that so-called Democratic support. None of us can say what the hell the Congressional Black Caucus does. What do they do? What do they do?
It's a mystery. Nobody knows. But I'm sure they spend a lot of money when they get together.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what do they advocate for? I mean, at all. You know, it's just crazy. So it's time to get off the plantation. You know, the mental shackles are really, really have been devastating on us, man, for sure. You know, the physical shackles are one thing, but the mental shackles are deep. And based on the way people reacting after the election, it's scary. And the Australians, man, they cover our politics really good. They have their show called Lefties Losing It on YouTube. That is funny, man. This chick, man, she has all kinds of stuff about lefties losing it over this election. So it's funny. Anyhow, man, I appreciate you coming up. And happy Thanksgiving, even if you're gonna spend it alone. I got one more thing.
Enjoy.
Yeah, and,
Enjoy. Don't eat too much. Don't try not to get in a food coma.
I'm trying not to, man. I'm doing a little good, man. I'm doing all right, man. But I got a break on the other side, man. The holiday season is not doing me any good, but I'm gonna take it easy. I'm saying that. I'm trying to psych myself up to only having like a little bit of the turkey and a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Why would I give a shit about giving felons back their rights if they're felons? That means that they were convicted in a court of law. This is why you shouldn't be able to vote. That makes no sense. You want me to give them back their rights? They were convicted, unless you're saying they were unjustly convicted, which is not a high percentage. Majority of people who commit crimes are actually guilty.
The only thing, so I don't really have an issue once they did their time. If you do your time, depending on the crime, if you're out, if you're free again, I don't mind them voting. But this whole notion, at one point, the Democrats wanted to try to give them rights in jail, to vote in jail. So that was stupid.
You do not put people who have broken the law and been convicted of a crime before those who have not. And this is the problem with our community, is that we glorify and we hype up people who have committed crimes. They don't come before people who haven't committed crimes.
Absolutely.
They don't. And so you care more about giving them back their rights as opposed to protecting the rights of the people who have never been in trouble at all. It's backwards thinking. And this is why our community is failing, because all I see is people talking about Young Thug and him getting out. But guess what? Young Thug's a criminal. He pleaded guilty. He didn't plead innocent.
That's right.
He's a criminal.
That's right. And listen,
you know what I mean? It's bullshit. There's a lot of you should not have the right to vote because you don't make any sense. You don't make any sense. And by the way, Trump being elected the president as a felon is not the first time a politician was elected, re-elected. I'm from DC. We had a whole crackhead. We had a man that got caught with crack. He went to prison. He went to prison and still came back and became the mayor. This isn't unheard of. This isn't unheard of.
That is funny.
His famous words were, "That bitch set me up." Because she was an undercover cop that he was in there smoking crack with.
Hey, did he get any leeway as part of entrapment somehow?
Yeah, he did get a little bit, because it was kind of shaky, but he still did time, and he was reelected as mayor.
That's right.
They really, so this isn't unheard of, like this idea of like, oh, you're a criminal, so you can't get back into politics. No, and that was a black man, by the way.
That's right.
It's a black man. So it's just one of the things that's just like a lot of y'all, man, y'all don't make any sense. Y'all make no sense. And as soon as you say you voted for Cory Booker, I already know what time it is. and how you would want to vote for a Democrat, knowing that the Democrat is the KKK party, I don't quite understand. I don't get that at all.
There's a lot of reasons.
And if you think that it's not, all you gotta do is look up Senator Robert Byrd. That's all you gotta do is look up Senator Robert Byrd. That's it.
Yeah, but listen, all right, gentlemen. Well, it's early, but listen, I'm gonna leave y'all with one more thing, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and say goodnight. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Anissa, you came up late, Too bad we were talking about. Hey, listen, Anissa, you can put this in the chat. Is one of the wine services you use, or do you know of a black-owned wine service, or do you use one? That's one of the services you use. No attribution one way or the other. I'm just curious. Because I know there was a couple of sisters that have some wine. I was curious about that. This is why we fail. All right, well, then she's talking to somebody else.
You know what I have a problem. You know, I have a problem with idiots like Edward when you say stuff like this. Who's supposed to protect the black people in your community? You want the white people to do it? That's what you want? You want the white folks to do it? You can't get off the plantation, bro. That's y'all problem. So when you have a black officer that does it, you say, oh, well, you're a cop. You're a part of that system. Okay, well, what's the better option then? Tell me what the better option is. Tell me what the better option, because the only other option you have is these country boys that come from South Carolina and West Virginia and all these podunk counties where there ain't no black people at all. So who's supposed to do it? Who's supposed to do it? Because you're not going to do it. You ain't suiting up to do it. You'll never do it. But you got so much to say about the guys who did do it. Man, get out of here, man. Y'all on clown time. Show me who's supposed to protect black people if you don't want black people to protect them. Who you want?
Thanks for the answer on this. Thanks. Hey, listen, you know what? That's all right, McGill. You know, you got 4 years. You know, we'll see how the guy does, and we'll go over that. I mean, it's going to be ups and downs, but you just measure to see how your life changes. That's all you need to do, man. If your life changes and some things are good, and we at least get the illegal aliens out of the neighborhoods, that'll be great. So a lot of crime.
They're not RP. He's going to spend the next 4 years trying to find any and everything that Trump did wrong. That's all he's going to do. Get over it. 74 million people don't agree with you. Get over it. He's the president. We're moving on. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Get over it.
Well, you got the midterms. You know what to do in the midterms. Anyway, let me. I got one more thing for everybody, and then I'm gonna say Happy Thanksgiving and have a good one. I'm gonna share one more thing. And listen, this is about us, you know, getting together. Of course, I got this AI thing, trade, and I can't stop playing it. Anyway, everybody see this? Oh no, I have to hit it. I didn't hit it right. Bum, bum, bum. All right, everyone. Good night after this.
In a world designed to keep us confined, we're breaking the chains, reclaiming our minds. Voices rising up, echo through the air. Critical thinkers will go anywhere, from the streets to the stage to share our views. With love as our armor, we can't lose. Charting the course, together we stand. United in vision, it's a powerful grace. Independent thinkers breaking the mold. With courage and wisdom, our truth will unfold. In the silence of doubt, we find our fight. Illuminating past, we bring forth the light. No more shadows cast, we're taking our place. In a world of noise, we'll find our grace. Through the struggles we face, we gained our might. With each step forward, we shine even bright. Charting the course, together we stand. United in vision, it's a powerful grace. Independent thinkers breaking the mold. With courage and wisdom, our truth will unfold. Across every line, our voices unite. In the battle for truth, we'll never lose sight. Empowering minds, lifting hearts higher. With passion and purpose, we'll never tire. Charting the course, together we stand. United in vision, it's a powerful grace. Independent thinkers breaking the mold. With courage and wisdom, our truth will unfold. So here's to the journey, to the battles we face. In the heart of our struggle, we found a place. With the black man unfiltered, our legacy's bright. Charting a course, we'll shine through the night.
All right, guys, another one in the books. Another great episode on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Listen, we're doing the thing over here. So, guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, which helps the channel, hit your boy Cash App. It's scrolling right here, right there, at the bottom of the screen, and support the channel. But we're happy that you're here, and we look forward to seeing you on every episode. So hit the notification button so you know when we go live. Thank you again, guys, for watching. We out.